So my name is Yazdan Razi. I am adjunct professor in aerospace department. The thing that I am going to discuss now, it is about some comments on specification grading. This is the thing that I did while I used the specification grading. The thing that I can tell you is that the course that I did that, it was just after finishing the specification grading in summer and spring that I had with the TEA. I should tell that I have lectured mathematics before from 2012 to 2017 in another private university. But here in San Jose State, normally I lecture engineering course. So with that, and the thing that was very important, that I wanted to apply whatever I have learned very fast. So I was waiting if the opportunity will arrive that I can teach this. Fortunately, the course of pre-calculus this year was late and they needed some lecturer. So I volunteered. There was one problem that, in the beginning, I was so in hurry to get into that. I did not look at that. It was they only gave me 70% of the grade. 30%, it was the department they decided. But whatever it was, I think it was okay from the beginning. So the thing was, every 4 sessions a week, I should lecture this course. So, it is very difficult. Every day, 1 hour. And I think if I did not lecture this course before, it would be impossible. The textbook was the Pre-Calculus by Stewart et al. I know this book, 7th edition, the book I have used before. Unfortunately, this last edition had some problems with the book, some errors in the book that while I was working, I corrected that. The course mode was online. That was very important. So it was not face-to-face unless when I was having exam and midterm, it was face-to-face. And I had 47 students and there was no TA. One other thing that I should tell that everything was prepared before. For example, even the fact that I was 1 week late, everything was designed that I should be exactly there. So with that things, I did all the best I could do to reach whatever deadline they had. So that was the thing that I had. And the other thing that I can tell you that every time that I had a midterm, there was a poll, and I used the poll to correct and redirect all my work. So about the journey, the implementation of the method. One thing that I forgot in the beginning, I had the permission to use this method from the head of the department. This is very important for the people who wants to do something like this. If the head of the department is not on the same wavelength with you, it will be very difficult and it will create problem. So the first thing that when I met with that Professor Cronk, I told him I want to use this. So I had the permission to use this as long as I go with the 70% of the grade that I had. So that was the thing that, I agreed with whatever they wanted. So what I did, there are some modification I did on the lectures. The first thing that I can tell you, it is about the slides. So slides was what exactly it was. I began with well-being of the students. This is the idea coming from TEA again. Every time there was something that it would mold breaker or icebreaker. And after that, very soon I went to warm up. Warm up was some questions on mathematics that, from the years of mathematics, I should add that, I have lectured in 3 continents and I was a laureate of Math Olympiad. So I know lots of things on mathematics. So I added most of these things as far as the students can be a little bit more motivated into the warm up. And then the lecture's objectives was quite explained to them what we want to do. And then there were problems. So there were some problems of the book that exactly I worked on that and I finished this. The way that it worked like this, at first I gave them problem, gave them sometimes they should work. And especially there was some engagement, I send them to break rooms. in the break rooms, they should work together, and one person was the captain in the break room, would write down what they did there. Because in the beginning, when I saw that they were silent, they are not working together, I made this change that they were. And finally, it was take away in each class what was the results of the class. The other thing that I did, it was the polls. As I mentioned that after each midterm, there was some polls. This was designed to increase students' learning. From what I learned that they wanted more visual problems. And in the course, there was one section, the voice, meaning that the voice of students, they could see what they talked about, what they criticized. So that was very important because, in all the classes that I have participated, one of the main problem was students thought their voices is not heard. So I showed them their voices is there, and I repeated that in a way that everyone could hear. This is very important. This is the difference between online course and face-to-face course. In face-to-face course, you can see the people. I can see the eyes of people. As soon as some person do not understand, I understand that. But in online class, they are policy of camera off, and we cannot do anything on that. So this is a problem that I should mention here. And although sometimes I ask them, but I know that many of them, they were doing other things. So that was the thing, because after that, I saw that most of them, they are looking at the recording of the courses. So that was something that I should tell. The other thing that, I can tell is this retake idea. Although in specification, we talk about retake, about midterms, but the retake idea is very important that I will come to that. One thing that, I learned about retake is that I should add something to the course, meaning that some whiteboard sessions, meaning that I solve some problems for them. Because, after the first midterm one and retake, I saw if there is no change, they will have the same result again and again. So there won't be any changes. So it should be some changes on lectures, meaning that whiteboard sessions, solving problems, C. And one thing was that these people, they were fresh from high school. This is something quite different from other courses. So every time I needed to explain to them what exactly is our objective, why we are doing this. So this is something. The other thing, I think everyone talked about that, it was about homework. In homework, I gave normally 1 or 2 days, something like, but normally it happened once 1 or 2 students, nothing more than that. They were very aware of the fact that what we were doing. And the question that was on homework, it was not very difficult. This was the thing that they will finish that, and they become a little bit more encouraged to finish the homework. So from that, I will talk about the feedback. So the feedback of students, they were very, very interesting. They talk about make a distinction between different problems of the book, meaning that when I was talking and solving the problems, I solved all the problems of the chapter. So they mentioned that some problems are easier, don't devote that much time to that. So that was very good. The other thing that I learned that the students wanted to be more visual. So for this reason, all midterms I did, they were visual. I should add that in the midterms, the way that I did it is 2 parts. One part was multiple choice, the other part was written question, that they see some problem that they will solve the problems. So that was something that, I did with visual question, meaning that figure was there. And the other thing was students liked the whiteboard sessions very much from the feedback that I had. One thing I should tell about the feedback that, I'm talking about the students' opinion. When the exam was finishing, I put on paper and I emphasized that your name should not be there. Students write whatever they think. Given the fact that, it was something on 3 different pages, nobody could trace who is doing what, who is stating his opinion. So they were very, very at ease to say that. So the other thing was I'm using whiteboard session plus class preparation. The score was higher. their retake increased their grade, provided they used whiteboard sessions. This was another thing. And finally, the takeaway is that retake should be explained very carefully, because the first time that I thought you can take retake, and there was only 4 students. Unfortunately, they shared their links with each other. So I had all 37 students there. I was very, very surprised. But at the same time, I allowed them to be there, given the fact that I was checking the system. Recording the lecture was very, very helpful. The other thing was Canvas can be used as a lecture extension. This goes to other things that I'm working on, constructal law, that how we can use this medium, meaning that virtual medium, to arrive at better lecturing. And one other thing that we did, it was Gradescope. Gradescope was something that it was prepared by department, so that I will not correct all the questions. 7 people were there. I was one of them. So there should be coordination, given the fact that we had some deadline. So that was the only thing I can tell. Thank you very much for listening, and this will bring me to question and answer.